Thank you and welcome. On behalf of the Giants organization, I'm really excited to be here this morning to welcome Bob back home to the Bay Area and to the Giants family. Having been a member of this organization before as a player and growing up on the peninsula, Bob has seen firsthand the importance of Giants baseball to this community and to our fans throughout Northern California. He also knows how dedicated and loyal our fans are throughout the country and the world. I know I speak for many people, both in this room today and following from afar, that we are so excited to have him leading our club. I can't think of any other person in baseball with the level of integrity and respect and achievements that Bob's had in his career. Well, maybe there's one, but he's a little bit busy these days that you can think of. So congratulations. We're thrilled to have you here, Bob, and I'll now turn it over to Farhan.
Thanks, Greg. I echo, obviously, Greg's sentiments. I guess I would, first of all, say really fortunate that we had the opportunity to talk to Bob, thank the San Diego Padres for being accommodating and allowing us to pursue the perfect candidate, and for giving Bob the opportunity to come home and get an opportunity that he's really excited about, just as excited as we are to have him. And again, as Greg said, we just view Bob as the perfect manager and perfect leader for this team and this organization right now. All of his accomplishments in the game, winning manager of the year 3 times. And, you won't see it on paper, but for myself and so many of the people who've been around Bob Melvin through the years, hearing from players how passionate they are about playing for him, about his leadership, about his care for them. There are so many players out there who played for Bob who to this day will say he's the best manager they've ever played for, and that carried so much weight for us in this process, and it's one of the many, many reasons that we're excited to have him as our manager. I know that some has been made about our history, and we had a really great partnership in Oakland, had success there, but honestly, when you look at all the reasons Bob's a great fit here, that is so secondary to his accomplishments, his leadership, and what I think he's going to bring to the organization. So I want to thank ownership for their support in making this happen, all the people in the Giants organization who are here in support of Bob and this hire today, and to our fans, just sharing your excitement at Bob joining us in this role. When I think about our familiarity, which I think can only help as we kind of embark on the next few years, which we're really excited about. As we went through this process over the last couple of days, Bob had the chance to speak to a few people in our baseball operations group, had a chance to speak to Greg, Larry, and other people in our ownership group. And really, right as we were kind of entering the red zone, I actually had to ask Bob, hey, is there anything we need to talk about? I'm just assuming that we're good, but just want to make sure that any concerns or anything you want to talk about gets raised. Don't want to presume a fit, and also, want you to feel like you can get anything on the table. And I think Bob himself had to kind of think about that question for a bit. I'm sorry, I have to share this. He asked me, hey, where are you on pitchers with reverse splits these days? And I thought, man, is that really where we left things 9 years ago? But again, I think the fact that we had to dig so hard to find, topics to discuss and feel like we need to hash out is reflective of the comfort level I think we have in each other. My complete and absolute trust in his ability to manage a team and lead a clubhouse. And again, I joined Greg, our entire ownership group, and our entire organization in welcoming Bob and saying we can't be more excited to have you as our next manager. And with that, we will present the jersey and see if we can get this on him in one attempt.
Oh, we're doing that now? Right.
I think so. Yeah.
It's been a while since I had that jersey on.
Yeah, you have to speak once it's on. That's
the
deal.
All right. Thank you. To hat too? Yeah.
I guess that's up to you.
Get hat hair here. That's fine. Fits. Well, thank you. Well, thanks. This is kind of a surreal moment for me. You know, I grew up around here, as everybody knows, a absolute crazy Bay Area sports fan. You know, whether it was Cal and Stanford, whether it was the 49ers and the Raiders, whether it was the Giants and the A's, the Warriors, I was into it all. And, you know, I was walking over here today thinking, talk about full circle. And, you know, for me, this isn't even something as a kid you could even dream of, to be able to not only play here, manage here, go to Cal, manage the A's. It's not something you even dream about. So at some point in time, this will sink in. I guess putting the jersey on and in the hat is partly that way. But when I got up this morning, it just seemed like it was too crazy to even comprehend. So, you know, to be back here and be in an area that to me is so important, and the Giants are so synonymous with the city. You know, it really is. San Francisco is the Giants are San Francisco, and I don't think anybody understands that more than I do. And no one is going to be as responsible and caring and know that this matters to the city, what this team means to the city. So thank Greg and Farhan and Larry and everybody else here that brought me here. Very surreal moment. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, guys. With that, we will open it up to questions from the media. Just a reminder, if you do have a question, just please raise your hand. We'll get you a wireless microphone. And then I do ask you just please state your name and affiliation. Let's go. First one to John Shea.
Yeah, how many years? What is the contract for, the length?
The contract is through 2026. So.
Okay, 3-year deal. And you are still at 1 year, Farhan?
Yeah, I don't know, Greg, if you want.
Bob's day here.
Yeah.
I think we said before that we have full confidence in Farhan and for the stability of the organization. We've agreed in principle for a deal for Farhan through 26, and we'll announce that shortly.
And Bob, why does this work for you? It worked well in Oakland. You did a lot with a little in terms of payroll. In San Diego, maybe the opposite was true. You beat the Dodgers in the playoffs, but last year was kind of a mess. Why could this work for you when it didn't work in San Diego?
You know what? I think it's just being part of the fabric of this community really is the most important thing to me right now. Obviously, with the resources that we have here and the commitment from ownership and everywhere else, you're always going to have a chance to win here. So I realize that. There isn't a team that I haven't managed that no matter what the personnel looks like, when you go out to play a game, you are very convicted and you're going to win. So in Oakland, we might not have a lot of the resources some other teams, but we had some success, and that was based on the commitment from everybody from the top down in the organization. And that's the way it's going to be here too, even more so with more. I mean, you look at this ballpark and the fans that come out here and support this team, the city and everything. There are all the resources here to win. So I don't take it too much farther than that.
Yeah, I would just follow up with that. Bob's track record as a manager in many ways speaks for itself. He's won Manager of the Year for 3 times, been to the playoffs many times, took the Padres to the NLCS in 2022. And, as we went through this process, we spoke to a bunch of different candidates. Some people would be first-time managers, others who had some experience. And I think when you're going through this process, you're looking at the totality of someone's career, their leadership, their characteristics, and you're not looking at kind of recency bias or what happened over one season, whether it was 2023 or some other season. Again, I've been around Bob, seeing how he runs a clubhouse, sees how he runs a team, and I would put his leadership and management skills up against anybody in the game, and so that's part of why we're so excited to have him.
Let's go the back here, Danny.
Yeah, Bob, this is Danny Emmerman with KNBR.com. Why was this job with the Giants a better job for you than San Diego?
Look, I really don't want to get too much into the San Diego situation other than the fact that I really enjoyed my time there. Some things transpired last year in a difficult year for the team with high expectations. I think there was a narrative at the end that probably wasn't going to go away with me being on my last year of my contract. And I think as far as that organization goes, it's probably not fair if that narrative continued through, next year. So all things considered, this opportunity came about, and for all the reasons I stated, this feels like the right one for me. But I very much enjoyed my time in San Diego. It just seems like with a lot of things that were popping up there, it just was time to move on.
Let's go to the back left, Tim.
Yeah, Greg, I know you don't want to look back, but we don't get to ask you many questions. Not too long ago, you said there would be no changes. What happened, and what do you want to see specifically from both Farhan and Bob that's different than you saw in the last few years?
Yeah, I think if anybody asks me a question about somebody who's under contract, are they going to be with us, my answer is always going to be yes, until they're not, first of all. And there was some noise around both at the time that we just wanted to eliminate during a season. I think Farhan's a person that has done, I think, a very good job, and I think there's an openness with Bob. There's some things we need to do a better job of, and I think Farhan is certainly on that path where he every day you learn and you try to improve, and that's why I feel very confident that these two together, along with our board and ownership group, are the right people to get us back to where we need to be.
Let's go up front here, Janie.
Hi, Bob. This club's had a big coaching staff, put a lot of focus on mental health, and Sean Manaea pitched for you in San Diego and has been outspoken on these things. How much do you kind of envision potentially looking at some of the staff who've been here, and also, you build your own staff, but it's been a big group and a lot of focus on that.
Yeah, there's big groups everywhere now. So from Oakland, which was a little bit of a smaller group, I went to San Diego, which is a very big group, and I think that's just the way it is nowadays. You're trying to find as many resources as you possibly can to contribute to the team and make it better. So I don't know what Sean said about that, but as far as the staff goes here, we haven't really even gotten into that. I have a few ideas and some guys that I would like to bring with me. It's different now in that years ago you had 6 coaches and that was it, and you considered them those are your guys. Nowadays there's a lot more, so you kind of, everybody has a lane to kind of stay in to and try to prove the team and be productive. And most teams are have bigger staffs now, which means there's a lot of buy-in for different ways to be successful.
Let's go right here, Brian.
Hey, Bob. Brian Murphy, KMBR. Welcome home. When you managed against the Giants the last 2 years, what was your opinion of the Farhan Zaidi, Gabe Kapler club, and what's your opinion of the roster you're inheriting?
Yeah, they were a tough team to match up with because they created a lot of problems as far as in-game moves, and when you're bringing in relievers, you're looking at, you got to really do a lot of work on what do you think the best matchups are, right, left. A lot of unpredictability that you had to deal with on the other side, and when I set up my card every day, I do my lineup card every day. It usually takes around 45 minutes or so. It always took over an hour to set it up against the Giants, so you kind of had to be on your toes a little bit more about some of the moves. So I think the personnel here is terrific. I know we're talking about making some moves and enhancing the team. But a couple years ago, it was a team that won 107 games, and it is operating the way it did then. Some years are going to be better than others, but this was a difficult team to prepare for and to play against.
I just add, Murph, that as we thought about our strategy over the last couple of years, it was really important for us that we made Bob spend extra time putting his card together. So it's really heartwarming to hear that.
Up front here, Steve.
Thanks, Matt. Bob, you played for Roger Craig. Of course, made an indelible impact on this city. What have you taken from his teachings, and have you ever applied them to your managing?
I hope I apply, so there's certain things I learned from every manager. But what really for me, Roger was the guy that made me watch the game like a manager. And you will hear from guys like Bob Brenly about how, probably my time was going to be more productive as a manager than as a player. But he really made me watch the game a different way than I was used to watching the game. And because I had to follow along with him, I had to know his signs. I had to, really every pitch. There was that kind of unspoken communication between the manager and the catcher that I had never had before. So he forced me to watch the game like a manager does, and to this day, I'll always, be indebted for that.
Back right, or front right, Manolo.
Hello, Bob. Manolo Hernandez Duen from Baseball por Gotas. You mentioned in your introduction the meaning to be, here in the Bay. Your roots are here. You managed your team for 11 years here. You played for the Giants already. But I'm wondering if at any time in your career you have managed other teams, it crossed your mind that someday you will use that uniform again, but as a manager, and when that happened?
At least once every time I was here in the opposing dugout, I would look. Larry and I had been back and forth for years a little bit too, kind of ribbing each other. But I think that probably every series, I would look in that dugout and look over the other side and say, maybe someday, hopefully. I typically run the stairs the first day of the series. So it gave me time to, look around, look out at McCovey Cove and the Bay and all those sorts of things. I used to slide down the slide for luck, but they started locking it because I think we started to have some success, and they didn't want me to slide down it anymore head first. But there were always times here, I can admit that now, that I was hoping at some point in time I'd come back.
Right here to the left.
Hi, Bob. Jason Mastronato with Bay Area News Group. I was just curious, when you look back at your playing days here, what do you take away from those days, and how did those days kind of shape you as a future leader in this game?
I didn't play a ton when I was here. I was in the bullpen quite a bit, but I think what it did was it started my career. I came up in the Tiger system and then was traded over here after a half year with the Tigers. It started my career and an understanding of I'm going to have to have longevity in this game. I'm going to have to work hard and try to see all different angles and understand at some point in time I probably wasn't going to be an everyday player, and understand the role player. And I think as a manager it served me well because I understand what failure is. I understand what the entire roster is thinking, whether it's bench players, I was a catcher, with bullpen guys, starting pitchers. I kind of understood the entire breadth of, what it takes to play a Major League Baseball game. So, and the fact that, here at home, it was very inspiring to be able to play 3 years at home. So it just kind of started my career, and I started believing then that I had maybe a longer Major League career ahead of me than, maybe when I first got to the big leagues.
Let's go left here again, Alex.
Simon from SF Gate. Greg, you've previously said that you don't foresee the franchise massively overextending into the luxury tax. As you approach this offseason, it has been several years since the Giants were in the tax at all. Should the fan base expect that to maybe be kind of an upper limit for the team's spending ahead of a big offseason?
I think it depends a lot on, who we target. And when you look at luxury tax, in a 1 year, number. You could go past that if you had to. I don't think it's something we want to do for a long period. And I think if you look at the teams that have, jumped up in free agency, they didn't really have great years this year, with the spending. So I'm not sure there's a direct correlation there. But, we plan on being active, and if we have to go through that, we will go through that. But we also, represent a group that hopefully our goal is to somewhat break even, which is somewhat a challenge in this business. But everybody, I can tell you from the ownership side, the goal is to win. And that's what we are doing everything we can.
Let's go all the way in the back right.
Bob, Aaron Wilson with Cron 4. You spoke a lot about how much this area means to you, being from here, being a native here, also playing with the Giants, and now you're back as manager. Is there any pressure that you feel coming in, knowing the success that they've had and knowing that the fans here in the area are itching to get back there, especially with two guys that are, related to the Bay Area competing so deep into the playoffs this season? Is there any immediate, we need to get back there ASAP?
Well, there's always that, and there's always that expectation, especially when you have the resources here. I wouldn't say pressure. There's always pressure when you go out and play. It's more responsibility that I feel here, even more so maybe than wherever I've been, because of the fact that I grew up here. So, pressure is just part of it all. But the expectation is going to be to win here from day one, and definitely have the resources to do it.
Let's go middle left, Ann.
Hi, Bob.
Hi, Ann.
There's an exasperation with the fan base right now with what they view, I think, as an over-reliance on analytics, and you've always had a reputation as being able to kind of straddle the line there as a manager. I'm just wondering if you can kind of state your philosophy about the role of analytics, to maybe state it to the fan base.
Yeah, it's very important. Every team, even the teams that you see now that are playing deep into the playoffs, analytics are part of it. They're bigger staffs now. There's more people that are, have input. And coming from Oakland, without analytics, we wouldn't have had the success that we did there. So there's always a balance to everything. And Farhan and I have talked about that for years. So, 1 year goes a certain way, and you make adjustments if you need to move back toward the middle or whatever you think's the right thing to do. So that's just an ongoing thing. But, I learned from my days in Oakland that there's a lot of smart people that contribute to this game. And there's also a lot of old school baseball people that understand what it's like to, to go out there and compete. And that's one thing, analytics doesn't show you, is kind of the competitive of bone on certain people and certain players. And we've always had really good talks about players over the years, and we'll continue to.
Let's go right here, Taylor.
Hi, Bob. Taylor Worth, NBC Sports Bay Area. One quality that Farhan mentioned in his next manager that they were looking for was an effective recruiter in free agency. Just how important is that as a manager? Is that something you embrace and enjoy? And do you have any memorable stories from your time as a recruiter, as a manager?
It is. I guess it is important. In Oakland, we were a little bit more, reliant on the players from the system. So there might not have been as much recruiting then. And, in San Diego, there was a lot of that. So, look, whatever I can do to help that, hopefully respect around the league, my time in baseball adds to that. So if I can help in any fashion, that'd be great, and it would make me feel, even more part of the job here. So we'll see where that goes, and I'm willing to help out in any fashion that I can.
Brian?
Sort of following up on that, it's been written already that you have a lot of connections to players from Korea and Japan. Is that a truism? Is that something that's part of your resume and something you bring to the table?
Well, I had Ichiro in Seattle. I had Matsui. I had Nomo when I was a bench coach with Phil Garner in Detroit and Milwaukee. Obviously, Darvish. Had a lot of prominent players from the Pacific Rim. So, and Ha-Seong Kim as well last year. Shigetoshi Hasegawa, Sasaki in Seattle as well. So I do have, some familiarity there. Also, with Oakland, we opened up a couple times in Japan as well. So hopefully that resonates.
Let's go to the back left, Chris.
Hey, Bob, Chris Haft, congratulations.
Thank you.
What made, baseball aside, what made growing up in and living in the Bay Area such an ideal place for you?
Well, there aren't many places, if any, that you have as many sports teams, high-profile sports teams to be able to follow. So, we were playing pickup basketball in gym in Menlo. Basketball season, basketball was my favorite sport. Football season, football is my favorite sport. Baseball. So you get very well-rounded here in sports in the Bay Area, probably as much as anywhere in the world.
Let's go to right here, front left.
Hi, Bob. Ron Ludy, San Francisco Business Times. Roger Craig was brought up. I'm wondering who's the biggest influence on your managing style, and how have you managed the game? How has that evolved over the many years?
Right. Well, Phil Garner. Phil Garner was the guy that I was his bench coach. It was the first time I was at the big league level as a coach. So most of my chops were cut with him and philosophies and so forth. And, like you said, over time you have to make adjustments and you have to move with the times. And, those philosophies always stay with me. He was very old school. I called him scrap iron, and he just had a terrific way about himself with the players, the competitiveness that he had. And then Billy Beane, when I got to Oakland, to see the other side of it, the analytics side of it as well, and Sal Bando as well. Those are probably the three guys that really kind of formed who I am as a person in baseball. So I feel like I'm pretty well-rounded due to those guys.
I can't believe you mentioned Billy.
Well, you told me to.
We're never going to hear the end of that now. So,
All right, let's take 3 to 4 more. Middle left, Andy.
Hi, Andy Baggerly from The Athletic. I want to ask about Chris Haft's jump shot, actually, now.
It was actually pretty good. I hate to say that in this forum, but it was pretty good.
One question for Farhan, one for Bob, if I can. Farhan, we haven't heard about any compensation from San Diego. Was that part of any conversations, or did you arrive at anything?
No, there's no compensation with the hire. And again, I just want to reiterate our appreciation that they were kind of flexible and accommodating in the process.
And then just related, Bob, did you think that San Diego would grant permission, and what were your thoughts as you were going through that process?
Well, I had a lot of conversations with AJ. So when this one came up, this is probably the only one I would have listened to. But he was good enough to tell me about it and ask my thoughts on it, and we had some conversations, and so yes. The answer is yes. Talk to me.
Let's go to the middle left here, John.
Specifically, you were asked about being a recruiter, but what about Ohtani, and what about Snell, and what about Yamamoto, and your impact on bringing big-name players here? Because the Giants haven't really done that. They've finished second a lot of times.
We'll see, right? Those are all pretty good players. We'd like to have every one of them, but, financially, that's a stretch. But I think all those guys will be talked about, and hopefully I do have an impact in that. We'll see where it goes.
And tough question here. You were 6 in Oakland because of Bando.
Yep.
That's kind of being used by one of these young players. What are you here?
What am I here?
6.
Yeah, I was aware of that. I'll probably have a conversation with him. I haven't gotten to know him yet, but appreciate the sentiment.
Bags, you want to ask about compensation there, or?
See, you had to do that, right?
Let's go to the back right.
Hey, Bob, good seeing you. Ryan Leong with NBC News Radio.
You wearing that jacket there for me?
Of course.
Thank you.
Speaking of which, your ties to the Bay Area, did this job become the one that you really coveted? All the steps you've taken from starting in Seattle, Arizona, of course, Oakland, San Diego, and then here. Do you feel that this is the place that you always wanted to be at, and you're hoping that this could be the culmination of all your experience to succeed here in San Francisco?
Well, down the road, maybe. I think once I got to Oakland, it felt like, how's it going to get better than this? Being in the Bay Area, being back home. Really, originally when I was a player here. But then to manage Oakland, it was like, how does it get any better than this? But, after I moved on from Oakland too, I have some friends here from the Bay Area, some guys that you might see show up here a little bit later. There were conversations about, could you imagine? So now I'm getting to imagine.
All right, we're going to take two more. Back left, Chris.
Hi, Bob. Chris Alvarez from ABC7. Congratulations and welcome home. I'm curious what the phone call was like for you and the emotions that maybe overcame you when you initially agreed on the deal. And then if you could also speak on just the history of this team and this franchise and you now being a manager here.
Yeah, well, I mean, once Farhan and I started going, through some things, the fact that he didn't interview me and everybody else did, and I finally got to speak to Buster Posey, by the way. I have never spoken to Buster Posey in all these years, and you know what? That's a good thing, because he was about winning and about playing and about competing, not being somebody's friend. And so when we spoke the other day, it was a great experience, because all of a sudden I felt like I knew him, where before I just didn't like him because he was such a pain all the time. Whether it's big homers, whether it's you get two strikes on him, he shoots the ball the other way. Like, come on, make it out sometime in a big situation. So I do like Buster Posey very much now. And as far as phone calls go, my first one was to my daughter, who's in New York. And she's co-producing a play called Here Lies Love, which is a fantastic play. But she was every bit as excited as I was. She wished she could be here right now, but she's got a pretty big job right now. And if you ever get the chance to see that, it's a pretty good show. But it really kind of struck me with the emotions that she had as well. So some good conversations.
Okay, last one, Janie.
Farhan, how many players did you really need to speak with to know how much they love Bob?
I mean, I knew that through the years, I know on our current club, I think it might just be Sean that played for Bob, and I know how Sean feels about Bob. So, which again is consistent with, the conversations that I've had with every player that's played for Bob, and getting just kind of building off of that on the strategy question. I think one thing that Bob brings to the table as much as anybody that we possibly could have wound up with, and that's why we're so thrilled, is just the credibility and the trust that he builds. I mean, he is my complete trust in how he manages the day-to-day. I've just seen it, and I have a complete belief and faith in his ability to do that in terms of managing relationships, in terms of strategies. And I just also think, Bob mentioned that you look in the playoffs, there's a lot of matchup baseball being played, and it's tough because players want to be out there for 9 innings, pitchers want to stay in games, position players want to stay in games, and having somebody who has a great feel of that, who will have the trust of the players, that even when there's a move being made that they might not like in the moment, they understand this is a guy who's been around the block and has had a lot of success. So, again, I just can't emphasize enough how every player, I've been around a lot of players, different personalities, position players, pitchers, they'll run through a wall for Bob, and that speaks for itself. I did, by the way, just want to quickly acknowledge Dwayne and Glenn Kuiper being here. Really appreciate you guys being here. Glenn obviously spent a lot of time in Oakland with Bob, and I just wanted to say that, when I started in Oakland, 2005 was a bit of a scared puppy, and Glenn was one of our broadcasters. He'd come into my room and talk baseball, and, that meant the world to me. So it's great to see you guys both here today. Thank you. Thank you for being here.